Hi, namaste. Welcome to Pawcast with Sneha, powered by Oh My Dog. Today we are here for yet another episode of this podcast, and we have someone very, very inspirational whom I have recently met. And she is someone who is trying to make a change, bring about a change in the field of education. She's also someone who looks at education from a different perspective, and it's not just about books and what you study in science or math or the logical things that we all have studied in school, but she also looks at education as a way of bringing a child by making them more conscious about their surrounding, their community, making them aware from a very young age of what responsibility and compassion and respect for all living beings looks like. And she runs a school, she and which is a legacy that has been carried on, and her mother has been running the school for a long time now, and she and her sister are taking ahead the legacy. We are talking about Apoorva Rao. She is the principal at the South School, which is in JP Nagar. It's a school which is under the Karnataka Board of Education, and the students that I've met in that school are also exceptionally talented and very, very soft and gentle. And I've done so many workshops in different schools, and I've met like different kind of children. But I think this school stood out to me from all the ones that I've worked with, because it's just the way the students interact, the teachers interact with them, and Apoorva herself interacts personally with most of the children and take very, very good care of them by communicating them on a regular basis. I wonder if we've ever seen such a cool and chilled out principal. I don't remember being happy going to school or being called into the principal's office, but I think all the children here look forward to see their principal every single day. This is an amazing school, and they take a lot of pride in talking about animal welfare and doing what they can for animals. We have recently done a workshop with them and also an adoption drive, which was quite successful, and we are looking forward to doing some great work together. We have Apoorva here with us today, and we will have a lovely conversation. We'll get to know a little bit about her. Hi Apoorva, welcome to Podcast.
Hi, Sneha.
That was a long introduction.
No, but it was really nice. It's always weird to hear about yourself, I think. Like when someone's talking about you. But that was very kind words. Thank you.
No, thank you so much for being here. And I think that's the purpose of this podcast for us, that we want to bring in people who talk about important issues,
Yeah.
and are the real change makers. And I think looking at some of the adults that we are, the children who are working with us and looking at us every day would be able to learn so much, and they will have to carry forward the change making strategies that we are trying to create today.
Yeah.
For that, I think you are doing such a great job, and
I try.
we would definitely want to know a little bit about you from yourself, how you started, and what made you get into education, things like that, before we get on to the technical questions.
What made me get into education? Accidentally. I started with teaching adults at InLingua. I used to be an English trainer, and I found that adults find it difficult. As adults do, it's never easy to learn a new skill. I was like, oh, it's so difficult to teach adults, man. And for me, another really important part of any job is that I don't want to be bored. That's a really important thing. I need to be like mentally stimulated. Call it ADHD, call it whatever you want, but I need to have like constant problem solving. And so my mom started this school about like 26, 27 years ago. And then she was like, hey, and then my sister started working there because there was a social studies teacher just left mid-year. So my mom was like, hey, do you wanna come and help out? And my sister was like, and then after she started going there, I was so jealous of how passionate she was. She used to come home with these like hilarious stories. And I was like, wait, even I can do this. And I started working. This is my 10th year teaching, actually.
Congratulations.
Thanks. I sometimes even, I can't wrap my own head around the fact that it's been 10 years. And it's a job that I love because, touch wood, I'm never bored. Every kid is so wonderfully unique. Every day there is something new to figure out. Every day there is some new challenge that is so exciting, and My favorite thing is that you have these group of people, because they're kids and they're so open to change and ideas. It's really interesting to have like a hand in that. That's what I love best.
That's like a very great answer, I would say, because not many people talk about working with children in school. So most of the time what I hear is, of course, like how we've also understood of schools and teachers and how the education system works, and it's a very unique take of how you look at children, and that each child, which I've also noticed when I've been to the school, that each child is so unique and they all have different quirks and different things. Some are serious, some are nerdy, some are like fun loving, and you as a teacher, as an educator, as a principal, are able to identify that for all the children, most of the children, and that is like so inspirational. And I also noticed that you, most of the children that you were talking while we were meeting up, you knew each of their names. So I was quite taken aback by
this
that.
Is horrible, because sometimes when I meet new people, I don't remember their names. But you ask me about a kid, I will remember about that kid, about the background of that child. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the aspect of the job, but I studied in a school where I was faceless. If I was not called on, if a teacher did not speak to me, successful day, best day ever. And if a teacher spoke to me, oh no, terrible day. I want to kind of like dispel the idea of fear.
Correct.
Going to the principal's office is not being, because I carried that fear that school put in me for 25 years. In university, constantly being super hyper aware of, am I getting into trouble? Can I talk to someone like this? Are they going to call my parents in university?
Correct.
And I don't think I don't think learning and fear can exist in the same space.
I'm so like second you on that, because like I was telling in the beginning, that for us, we cannot imagine being called by a principal and it's not something negative. It's always like that, and it's so sad because our memories are all like that your principal has written a note or is calling you, meaning that you've done something wrong, which I feel is so different at South School because of you, definitely, because the way you interact with them, and the way they are also so open and vocal to come and say hi to you, just like hi ma'am, and not fearing that oh, she's my principal and should I just say hi. That is commendable, I think.
Like, not to, we cannot forget that kids are also absolutely hilarious. They are so funny and they have these growing senses of humor, and they pick up on cues really easily. So I think, like, as an educator, my job is to tell you, look, there are like a million doors that are open. You walk through it, but then you can walk through all of these doors. But like, make sure that who you are should be clear. Like, what kind of person are you?
Correct. You shouldn't have to like be like focused on one particular thing. You can try out different
absolutely things. And I always, even with parents, I tell them, there are kids academically inclined, inclined in sports, they are excellent dancers, they sing, these all-rounders, right? Fantastic. But you get like what, 1% of that in your school. But I always say a kid should just have a passion. For example, if you're good at sports, that can be replicated into academics, because the neurons are there. The neurons are strong enough to say, I am able to focus for a really long time. A badminton player who can focus in sports for a really long period of time, this is, I'm sure there is science to back this up. It's just nothing's coming to my brain right now. But if you are able to concentrate in one field, it should be pretty easy to find a way to replicate that in academics. Right. And as long as you're passionate about something, it's all good. You will be successful in life. I don't remember where the topper of my school is. I don't know. Sonam. I don't know where you are, girl.
No. Just your energy here is telling me that you are so passionate about this, for the fact that you are able to explain it so well.
I've thought about it.
Just the energy of you. I think this is like a very fun podcast that we are having. We haven't had this energetic conversation before. It has mostly been about very serious topic.
We can talk about serious stuff.
No, this is also a serious topic. Education, today's education.
No, and also I feel like in my job, having a sense of humor is really, really important. Like, I cannot imagine. Sometimes I look back at my teachers and my principal and I'm like, man, your life must have been hard. My empathy for them ends there, because I'm like, you could have been nicer to me.
Exactly. But that's what we feel like all educators should also, school should be fun, because I also remember growing up, or even now when I meet some of my friends and I ask them how was school and all, a lot of them have said, oh, I had like a lovely school days. I love my school memories. I can't say that about mine at all. It makes sense. We must make studying or education fun also.
And kids, I remember my biggest question in school was, why do I need to study this? And
Yeah.
I'm like, come, I'll tell you why you need to study this. As an adult, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's not even about, nobody's going to ask you when you're older, oh, what is this trigonometry thing? But your brain is going to learn to think logically.
Correct.
You're not going to fall for some garbage stuff that
Yeah.
somebody's peddling to you, because your brain has been trained in science. When we think about languages, how to communicate your ideas to people.
Correct.
School is such, we are like, I remember from first standard only, there used to be like 10th standard exams. And I used to be like, what is this 10th standard exam? And I got to 10th and I'm like, what? And it's so, and as if my entire life depended on how well I did in 10th. I feel like for me, I just want kids to know that school is a part of life, man. It's not your whole life.
Absolutely.
And strengthen your neurons, become passionate about something, learn how to talk, learn how to handle situations, learn how to deal with certain things. Those are the things you need to learn. You don't, literally, school is not for anything else. It's really not to learn about
coming again, I have still not started asking the questions I scripted, but I'm curious, like when the day we had the adoption drive, there was the PTA. So how do parents respond to this energy of yours? When do they take you seriously?
See, guys, I'm the principal. You have to take me seriously, and this is me off hours. But when I have to talk about serious stuff, I talk about serious stuff. I don't believe in very harsh punishments for children. I believe children should be held accountable. You should never, because it's easy, right? For example, if I don't go to work regularly, I will lose my job. There is no emotion attached to it. That is just how it works. And I feel like punishment and fear, accountability doesn't go hand in hand with fear. And that's what I tell kids. And a lot of the times they're like, oh my God, I'm really scared. Of what? What is the worst that could happen? Fine, I'll call your parents. This is what I'm going to tell your parents. I'm telling you right now what I'm going to tell your parents, right? And because that is what we need to do. I will hold you accountable for your actions. You've not done your work. You're in school to do your work, and I have to teach that to you. And there are times when I have to have harsh conversations, or I have to have serious conversations. More than happy to do that. But the thing is, I will never make it more serious than it actually needs to be.
Correct.
That is not fair. That's not, especially to the kids, that's not fair.
I think even children expect honesty from parents, teachers, and being transparent. I'm sure the fact that the fear comes that our principal or a teacher has called the parent is because they are unsure of what the teacher is going to tell the parents, and so are the parents. I think that's also a great thing, that the transparency, and the students already knows what's coming.
And I ask the students as well, because a lot of us come from very strict families. I know what that's like. And sometimes there are certain parents you cannot complain to, because there'll be consequences at home. I don't want the child to deal with that. There are certain times when I'm like, I'll handle it in school. Don't worry. You're sending your child to school. I'll handle it in school. No stress. And there are certain times when I'll have to be the bad guy. I'm okay with being that as well. When I say bad guy, I mean that I will have to say that this was your child's behavior and stuff like that. That's also fair. But there are also, every single time before PTM, though, especially for the lower classes, I always ask the children, I'm like, is there something you want me to tell your parents? Because I feel like when it comes, because I have so much power. I cannot say that I don't. Like, that would be very, very frivolous of me. I have so much power in like the job that I'm at, in the kind of voice that I have with the parents as well. Sometimes it's really important to ask, and kids are like, ma'am, tell my mommy to put me for drawing class. I'll do that. Ma'am, I really want to join some sports or something, ma'am. Please tell my mommy to give mobile phone for 20 minutes. And these are conversations I can have, because sometimes all kids want is for an adult to be on their side a little bit, and to kind of understand. And like, sometimes you have to be the bridge between the child and the parent, because I get to see these kids in this completely different way when they're surrounded by their friends, when they are being their craziest, freest selves. And it's so fantastic to see that. Sometimes that is what I have to do. I have to ask parents. I have to tell parents, see, your child requires you to behave this way. My father shouts at me a lot. We call the parents. My mom was the one who taught me about all of this. And she was like, we'll call the parents and we'll talk to the parents. And we'll tell them, don't hit your child. It's not working. It just doesn't work. And I try to teach children boundaries very early. I think one child was like, I just don't like it when anybody touches my ears. And it was really amazing because you're also being so vulnerable when you talk about your boundaries. A lot of the times parents themselves don't know, no offense to the parents. Of course, they have like their jobs, they have their lives, they have like this household to run. And everybody has their own baggage, right? So sometimes I'm like, you know what, I'm going to reduce some of this baggage, teach children how to deal with their emotions so that maybe they don't become anxious adults. One thing I also tell all my students is that the first thing you'll do when you get your own money is like go to a therapist, because everybody needs it
so much.
Especially for higher classes. I always tell them, I'm like, what do you want to do with your first salary? Go to a therapist.
Nice. That's therapist. What I mean. I'm so amazed while I'm conversing with you. So amazing, because I have not heard anyone with this perspective on running a school, looking at students as not just ABCD, but just looking at those little tiny ones as individuals from that very young age.
Did you not feel like that? Did you not feel like you were not a complete individual until like you were much older?
Of course. That's what, because as children, often, even most of the times, even now, conventionally, you are not really heard. You're not really given that importance, because you are a child. What do you know? But the fact that you are, as a school, as a principal, as an educator, you are giving the children to say what they want to say, even if it doesn't make sense.
Like agency is so important.
The fact that
you
they're
need
learning
to feel in control of your life.
The fact that they're learning to communicate what is in their head, even if it sometimes may not make sense, is so important. And sometimes you are, like you said, you are acting as the bridge. You're communicating it to the parents, something that they can't. And that's exactly what we want schools to do, that you be the communicator. You're teaching them how to communicate in a school, and you be the communicator.
And we are professional children handlers. Like, we are the ones who have expertise when it comes to dealing with kids, because even if you've had 1 year of experience teaching children, you're talking about dealing with at least 150 children on a day-to-day basis. See, you may be an amazing parent, but at the end of the day, you've dealt with your child, you've dealt with one child, maybe two, maybe three, right? Or if you're maybe four, you've dealt with. But the thing is, like, I've dealt with at least, I think, easily like about 700, ballpark number, throwing it there, 700 kids, let's say, right? And it's like, I let me help you. Let me help you. It's okay. Parents, I also feel, are so isolated. I don't know, sometimes in the Indian context, that's what I believe. I feel like parents are really, really isolated. They feel like, especially if you have a child who's special needs, they don't even want to talk about it, or they just think, let me ignore it.
And I think it's because sometimes they're overwhelmed also.
As they are, of course. In the society we live in, why would you not be? But the thing is, I feel I'm a professional. Give me. Let me handle it. Let me handle it. It's okay. Like, I'll take this off your plate.
Exactly.
I don't.
And this is partly the perspective which I have, in the sense, when I started animal welfare and this awareness part, I started thinking that I don't know, and I don't care what other organizations are doing, what they are doing, how they are doing. I don't know the job. Like I said, I'm not a rescue, so I don't know the technicalities of it. But I know that my skill, one of my skill, is that I have a voice, and I can speak about what has been my experience and
strong
understanding.
voice also.
And I want to just share it. And if some of you cannot make children understand that, I am here to do that. And now, so it's like, even if you don't want me, I'm still going to do it.
Absolutely.
So like
no one really wants to do anything. No one really wants to be pushed out of their comfort zone, right? But that's where growth happens.
Exactly. So. And no, I mean, it's amazing. And I wonder, because actually, before I met you, before I learned about you from Arushi, I didn't know a school like that existed. I was only aware of the schools that we listen about or hear about. I didn't know. And when I went, the first meeting with you and the students and your interaction, it just changed my entire perspective, and my want of working with these kind of schools and these kind of people like yourself is just has grown so much stronger.
I'm so glad.
And it just makes me feel more like I'm more grateful towards for the work that whatever I'm doing and whatever is I'm designing.
It puts the work that you're doing in perspective as well, because you see who you're working for, right?
And for the first time in my life, I feel like whether or not I make a visible change, but I'm being a part of the change makers club, I would say.
Like, I feel like with the work you do, with the work I do, it is never
Yeah.
immediate.
Yeah.
Fine,
It's
you
a
get your
process,
salary,
yeah.
fantastic,
Yeah.
but you will never feel like,
Yeah.
man, I've done it.
Yeah.
Look at me, I've hit that goal.
Yeah.
You will never feel that. Like, it is super delayed gratification.
Correct.
You will figure it out 5 years.
Yeah.
You will find one child who will run to you, ma'am, I remember you. You came to our
Correct.
school and you spoke to us about this.
Yes.
And maybe the way I visualize it, like that girl will
Yes.
introduce, or that boy will introduce you to their pet and be like, I rescued this dog and now
I know.
they're mine.
Every time I know that whichever school and whichever students I've made an impact on, whenever they see a street dog going after my session, they must be thinking about me even for once.
Yeah.
That, oh, this ma'am was telling us this about you street dog, and yeah, I mean, it's actually true.
Yeah.
That's something
It's
that I will always
very slow.
Yeah.
It's very slow, and we have to be okay with
Yeah.
it.
No, I mean, there was a very small incident which happened at the Lawrence School, Kormangla, which I will always remember. And there was an adoption drive I was running, and a child comes and she wanted to take one puppy home. So she was calling up her mom, ki, come. This another friend, the classmate of hers, came and said, ki, oh, you want to buy the puppy? And I was right there, and she just looked at me and said, oh, so sorry, ma'am, I mean adopt. That meant that she was there in the workshop, and she remembers that I specifically told them the difference, and when they're speaking also, it should reflect, that you are on an adoption drive, you are not buying pets, you're giving a home to a homeless. And she was like, she saw me and it just clicked, and I was so glad that it happened. I was telling everyone, look, this happened.
That's amazing.
So that's when you know that it has made an impact. In the same way, the activity we did in your school, that small chit one, I hope it's going to stay with some of them, whatever was written in those. And
it always does. Like, kids like that are like sponges. Whatever you throw at them, right? Throw them terrible attitude, they'll absorb that. You give them space to grow and have fun, and they love that. It's just so dependent on you. And I'm sorry, like, you were amazing, but someone else was so much more impactful. There were two people who were there.
Yes, which is why, so Momo is the new addition, right? Earlier it was just Miney. And now, because she has been trained under Miney, she's also become like that, interactive.
It was lovely. Kids will remember that. By the way, I must tell you, so many kids came up to me on Monday. Why only one day? And then that, you remember,
every week,
every day. I was like, guys, come on, be realistic. And then Diksha's gone and told everyone, ma'am is having it again in February. And I was like, good, fine, now we have to make it happen.
The little one, what was her name? The
Diksha.
one, she comes and tells me, are you having it again? I said, I don't know, I'll have to check with Apoorva. Apoorva ma'am already told next month. I'm like, okay.
She's got it told all her friends. Ma'am, you're having it next month? I'll come for that. I was like,
I am now sure that whenever we have whatever session,
I want to be your South Bangalore center, man. Like, that's what I want. It was awesome. I got to meet such cool people.
And every time you'll meet people who have these stories, wonderful stories of rescue, or just like fostering, or how they are doing it and everything. You'll always have these kind of stories,
really,
which is so inspirational again for the kids also, to learn their stories, not just look at animals with playfully, but also to know their story.
And like what they've also gone through, right? By the way, I mean, I don't know if you're going to include this. Do you know you like bridged this peace thing between our school and the front?
We should mention this.
I don't know. We've had, like, obviously, right, with neighbors, there's always a bit of strife and conflict. And at the drive, there was someone who, that lovely puppy named after the Frozen
white one.
Queen, the queen from Frozen, on Elsa. And then the front house people, they walked in, and I'm like, oh my God, they come because there's a problem again or something. And they brought their dog, and then they were friends, and it was so nice. And I got to speak to him in like a very normal, friendly way.
I'm sure instantly he's, whatever idea he had about you, instantly
I really hope so, because, or at least get an idea of what we're trying to do at school as well. You know, our intention is never to like hurt anyone or harm anyone or disturb anyone.
And it makes such a huge difference. And I think the space also which you gave us, I'm not again bad mouthing any school, all the schools we've worked with, and so
everyone
wonderful.
works in their own whatever
but
they allow.
The fact that we were able to tell people to just be free, just be there. around. I usually don't get to do that. I usually
Point
have
of
like
school.
spaces, and I'm very like particular.
That makes sense now.
Depends on the
Okay.
school's convenience also.
Yeah.
But with your space, it was so natural
Yeah.
that just take the whole space, move around, and everyone was also very happy. And the dogs and the kids, they all got to play together in the playground. That was such an amazing sight. And
Also,
that's
I've
what
never
we want to
seen
show.
children listen to me so fast, guys. It's disturbing the dogs. Please don't run
Yeah.
around. Done immediately. Stop.
And that's what we want to show, that and considering all these court hearings going on every single day, we just want to show that this is not so difficult.
It's really not.
It's not difficult.
And they're such protectors of our
Yeah.
communities, and
Yes.
like they're just
Yeah.
creatures living their best lives.
Yes.
Of
Honestly,
course,
yeah,
there are
I
things.
think one of the lawyers in one of these arguments was giving an example of he was giving a number of the amount of homeless people on the streets in India, and
Homelessness is also a mental health crisis, though.
Correct.
So no one wants to
Correct.
talk about it
Yeah,
like that.
and that homeless people who
Yeah.
are on the streets, like sleeping on the streets with little children and babies, for them, most of them will have one or two dogs next
It's
to them.
incredible. Yeah.
And for them, actually, those dogs provide a sense of security.
Yeah.
And they will secure them.
Yeah.
They will protect them
Yeah.
if there is any harm coming their way.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And these are such powerful things, and it's very sad that it doesn't.
I'm really scared that like it's
people
gonna
don't
be,
get to talk about
and
it.
like I'm really scared that if people, if whatever this thing is, if people continue it with whatever the court has said, I'm really scared that people will realize the value of it too.
Yes, yes.
And like we would have already done the damage.
Yeah.
And I also feel this girl from school, I know her name is Anushri. I follow her on Instagram, and I think she'd spoken about how stray dogs are like a part of life, right?
Yes,
and then
yes.
or dogs that are, or our street dogs are a part of our lives, and also culling them would and then encourage dogs from other areas to
that's
come
what
in,
will
and you're
happen.
creating like a
That's
you're
what will happen.
literally creating a mountain.
Exactly. That's what they've been shouting and screaming in court, saying that if you remove the dogs, there will be others who will come.
Unscientific. That's what really gets to me.
And then
what are you basing this on? Okay, fine. You know what? I get it. Okay, there have been people, dogs have attacked people. I get that, right? Like I get, and we want children to be safe.
Yes.
We want human beings to be safe, 100%. But do you think this is the way to go about it? And and Gandhi said it, man. Like you can measure a country by the way we treat our animals.
Exactly.
What are you doing?
Because now, now it's like out of hands. Because see, honestly speaking, all the guidelines with regards to animal welfare and how to sterilize dogs, all of them are in place. Honestly speaking, it's just that over years it hasn't been followed. The process of sterilization and vaccination. So now the fact that there is this huge population of street dogs is because there have been so many dogs which they haven't been sterilized.
And how is that like? And then there are people with emotional attachments and all of these.
Yes.
And now suddenly it's like, oh, this is how we're going to take care of it.
Yeah.
Better,
because
man.
Now it's out of hands, right? Now you can't have enough shelters or spaces to put these dogs. And now also the suggested methods are to sterilize them and vaccinate them. But that's why I think the government and everyone is in a confused state of
too expensive.
How are they going to do it now? Because the population is out of control. But this should have been done.
And also
should have been
we cannot have a solution like this.
You often talk about empathy as an essential life skill.
100%.
So why do you feel children are especially open to learning empathy? Serious question.
It's a serious question because and like I also want to talk about it in like a way that is serious also. Kids live in this dog eat dog world, right? Like they're constantly like fighting each other, or like they're constantly like in competition with each other. No one really wants to stop and think about what someone else is going through. You listen to 99% of complaints in school, and you're like, this child did this. And even if you want to think about it from like management perspective, this child has not done their homework, or this child has behaved badly. And the thing is, like, a lot of the times from management side or from the teacher side, we don't understand what this child is going through. And how do you know, mommy and papa had a fight at home. This child has had to come to school. This child is going to act out in school, man. Or there's some problem happening at home. This child is not going to do their homework. And I feel like it's our duty to kind of understand where children come from. And empathy is one of those things where you can only teach it if you practice it. And I think it's a lot about like asking children, so how did that make you feel? When you, and I think it's very easy to get into that me. I am the only person in the world, only my problems are important. Look at the way our traffic works. Look at the way we live. We're all on top of each other, literally, right? And it's constantly like you are taking away. If you get something and I don't get it, it's like you have taken it from me. Bro, no, it's not like that. We can all live, like we can all live together. We can live with understanding of each other. Our lives are easier when we understand each other. On the road, it's so easy. Like I used to also be like a road ragey person, as we are in cities. And then now I have found myself completely changing the way I look at it. And it's like someone is racing past you on the road, and I'm like, maybe they're in a hurry, maybe there's an emergency. How do I know? Would we know? And the thing is, like, I feel like we need that as the city is growing bigger. As we
otherwise
are
it will be
becoming,
difficult for us to
absolutely,
kind
and difficult
sustain.
In like a very, in your singular way, it will be difficult. You will find it difficult to deal with yourself. You will have n number of conflicts with everyone in your life. You will have conflict with your parents, you will have conflict with your spouse, you will have conflict with your friends. Man, you need friends, you need to get along with people. No man is an island, right? How are you going to do that if you're not going to understand how? Like when I look at my friendships, when I look at the people in my life, everybody who's close to me are people who understand where I come from, people who understand my trauma. And when I behave a certain way, I also have to think about how it affects other people.
Correct.
It is, I cannot be angry, throw stuff around, and then be like, no, life doesn't work like that. We talk about forgive and forget, but can you really forget?
No.
When you are empathetic, you can do the work. You can be like, you know what, I will fix this. I recognize where I've gone, where my behavior may have affected you in any particular way, and let me do the work to get back there.
Correct.
And I think this it segues into animals, because they are, look at this Q2. How I see, I don't like calling dogs especially helpless, because my God, they're resilient.
Yes.
And they're so dramatic and they get what they want. But there's something to be said about looking after them. That's just the most. When you go to bat for your dog, or when you go to bat for your cat, when you're like, no, like I will not allow anything to happen to this beautiful, stunning, innocent, I will say, yes, innocent little baby. It's so important. And kids can't learn that with human children. I think that's a little bit more complicated. But having a pet teaches you responsibility. You learn to look after someone who's not you. You learn to move your because and that's all important life skills, right? Like you need to know how to deal with this stuff as an adult.
And I also
soft
feel like,
launch.
I mean, I also feel like, because pets, I don't like saying that they don't really have a voice, in the sense they have their expression of voice.
We can't understand so much, but
we are like we are the ones who can help them, how do I say, emulate it or help them express it better. And of course, by taking care of them, we are taking care of their needs. We are reaching to them even before they have to ask for help. That's when you understand the animal next to you, and that's where empathy also grows. The selfless want of trying to help another living being. I think that's so important for children to understand and learn, because no moral science book is going to teach you that.
Panchatantra. Okay, love Panchatantra. I love it so much. But the thing is, it's different. I read Panchatantra, man. Like I've read books with animals in them, but like since I have pets, but they live in our farm, and since they've been in my life, it's different. Like it's like having
the practical day-to-day living with them. It's very different.
It's all not like hunky-dory, good times all the time. Like a pet is not just like, oh yeah, I'll play with this animal. No, that they have moods, they have needs, they have like mental needs, they have like physical needs. You'll have to look after these animals. And also I feel like parents, if you get your child a pet, your child will also understand what you went through.
I think so.
As a parent, in that way, I think
that nurturing skill, I think, will naturally come when the child grows up, if they are growing up around animals. So definitely that. Do you think society today is lacking empathy, and how do you see education playing
Yes.
a role in changing that?
Man, 100% we lack empathy. My God, if you listen to the honks on the road only, you know how much my work, that is number one. Bro, calm down. We all have to work.
Yeah.
It's public spaces. We have
Yeah.
to utilize public spaces. We have to, it's really important that we definitely lack empathy as a society. And I think with the current state of affairs and the way things are going with everything that's happening in the world, I think we're moving farther away from it. So I think the onus is, and the thing is, like, you can't ask parents to do this because they're living in that world as well. Or maybe, I don't know. I don't think my parents were taught this when they were growing up. Like, I don't think a lot of people were taught this. I know I wasn't taught this.
Yeah. So
Like,
what do you think, like, how children are going to play a role in changing this?
because
In-
they,
in the new
as cliche as this sounds, they are the future. That's one of the reasons I love this job. I feel like I have a hand in how the future is shaped because I get to deal with
Yes.
so many kids. And I feel and there are people who don't even align with this. If when we talk about this, there are parents who are like, you know what, we are removing my child from your school. It is too soft. We need a hard
strict
school, strict
rules and
Oh my God, how many times I've had people come up to me and say, Apoorva ma'am, you're not strict enough. Like, what do you want me to do? Beat your child? I can't do this.
yeah.
I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Are you joking right now? No. And it becomes a little difficult. But I also know, as an adult living in this world, as most people should, that if you don't understand where someone else is coming from, you're going to be super stressed. It's going to lead to you being anxious. It's going to lead to you being depressed. And it's going to, I can think of so many problems, especially mental health issues, that can be
Yes.
solved with empathy.
Correct.
I remember reading this. There's this book that I've read called Becoming Resilient by Nimi Hatnik. One of the best books. It kickstarted my mental health journey. And in that, she speaks about how a lot of the times we victimize ourselves. And, like, let's just say there's food and you give your father food and there's too much salt in this. And we tend to take it so personally, right?
Yeah.
But why do we need to do that? We can also be like, sometimes it happens.
Yeah.
We're so hard on ourselves. We don't even have empathy for our own
Ourselves.
selves.
Yeah.
You're so harsh on yourself. You're like, oh no, I have to be like this. I have to be. Bro, you really don't.
Yeah.
You are allowed to make mistakes. You are allowed to think of a way to fix it. Like the kind of spirals I've seen kids go under. My own nephew broke his phone screen and was in a proper frop for a good 1.5 hours, just not having a good time because he broke his phone screen. And I'm like, but you've got to move on, right?
Yeah.
And you've got to understand that you didn't do something intentionally. Like, it was actually an accident and these things happen. All you can do now is figure out a way to fix it. And empathy for yourself, empathy for your parents. As your parents get older, empathy for your friends. You don't know what kind of households a lot of these kids come from. Empathy for older people in your families and your homes. Empathy for other people who live around you. If especially people who work for you, right? Maybe you have somebody who cleans your house. Maybe you go to a restaurant. How are you going to talk to the waiter? So many times I have seen people talk to people who offer us services in this such a terrible manner. It's unbelievable. Everyone's a human being, every single one. And without any group of these people, our society would dismantle.
Correct.
What are we doing? How am I going to, what is education if I don't teach you that?
Correct. That's what it is difficult. It's like a very thin line. Like you said, a lot of people will resonate with it, a lot of people won't, but definitely education system, whatever the curriculum is and all of that, but this is something which should be extra and which should be given.
It's a life skill. Like, what are you gonna do?
Yes, empathy is definitely a life skill apart from just hearing and
of course, should you know your times tables 100%. But should you also know if your friend is in a bad mood, what to ask them? And not be like, I'm not going to be friends with you because you're not talking to me nicely today. And you're like, hey, come on, yeah. Like, you don't know what and all has happened in my house, what and all I'm bringing to school today. And now you want to throw this on my plate. And it's so easy because the answer to that, if your friend's in a bad mood, is just to say, are you okay?
I often see so many little children, like the school ones, who are downstairs playing just around. I never hear them like, hey, how are you? A lot of times I see going into the lift and there are couple of kids coming down to play and they just get, oh, hey, let's they don't ask each other, hey, how are you? How is school? today? Something
I
like
have
this.
seen that it happens in very quiet moments. Like it
Mm.
doesn't happen in public at all.
Mm.
But when you're around children, you see like a couple of them in like one group, and one is sitting down and they're
Yeah.
talking, and that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm just like, those are the moments. Like it doesn't happen like in front of adults. It doesn't
Yeah.
happen ever. Sometimes I'm always like, oh my god, I want to know what they're talking about. But no, it's so personal and it's so
Correct.
lovely when
Mm.
they are there for their friends. And it's one of my favorite things have also been like when kids are like, you're not there for me, and so I'll not be your friend anymore.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
And like, you must absolutely draw
Yeah.
boundaries. And that is incredible because you're putting yourself first.
Yeah.
It's
Which
really
is also
important.
so important, and
Yeah.
children should learn to do that as early as possible, putting
100%.
themselves,
Yeah.
the self-care, the self-love part.
We do
Which-
that every day. We call it self-care Sunday. And I'm like,
Oh,
on
wow.
Monday, we're like, did you do self-care Sunday? Did you cut your nails? And I always tell them, when you're having a bath, or be like, wow, look at me. I'm so
Yeah.
clean. I'm looking after myself.
Correct.
So when you talk like that to yourself, also life becomes a little easier.
Yeah.
Life
And I
is
think
not
they
hectic.
learn as children that cleanliness is so important, keeping yourself clean is so important.
Yeah.
Which I think when we were children, nobody really bothered, and we would be like, he does
My
cut.
mom used to be very strict about hygiene and
Yeah.
cleanliness. It was almost like a chore, like bounce to the other end of the spectrum. And now I've come back to become exactly like my mom.
That's not such a bad thing.
It's not. Like I say it like that,
Yeah.
but like honestly, I love a clean house.
Yeah.
I'm really, really
Correct.
particular about
Correct.
like cleanliness
Yeah.
and like.
And it also tells you a certain aspect of someone's personality, how you also, because if things are clean around you, it also gives you a lot of peace of mind, and the other people who are living with you in the same house.
Absolutely.
So that's so important. I think we've lost the entire gist of the conversation. But
Yeah,
which is what you
guys,
wanted.
it's amazing. I love it.
Some of these questions actually I'm not asking like that because we've spoken about it in the conversation.
Absolutely. I'm just having the best time, man. Look at this. Look at this little puppy. Just like, hi.
I will club in a few things and ask.
Yeah, sure.
When you decided to let your school be open to these kind of workshops, which we did with animals, and then followed by that we did this adoption drive. How, when you got to know about this concept, why did you feel like it's important to introduce this in the school? And even now that you feel the need of it, it's so important for kids to learn through empathy with dogs and cats and things like that. Why? What changed? What got your attention towards this?
First, Arushi Das is the most dogged person I've ever met in my life. My God, she doesn't let it go. Love that.
Yeah.
Love it. Right? And see, I'm also trying to get my sea legs. I know I've been working for 10 years, but I'm still trying to figure out what kind of educator I want to be. And I'm so lucky because I don't have to ask for permission.
Well, it's your
right? And I think the most, as a school, we forget that we exist for the community, right? And for me, I look at the space, I look at, and see, we talk about monetizing an area, right? We give out our ground for rent, all of that. Yeah. But there is also a kind of intangible responsibility that exists to bring new ideas from the world that maybe I am exposed to our school, right? Whenever there is a new opportunity that knocks, and like I said, what do I need for children? Children need to know that all of these things exist. That's all they need to know. Yeah. You can become a dancer, or you can become a musician, or you can become a scientist, or you can become like a biologist, whatever. You can become obviously doctor, engineer, lawyer, all of that stuff as well. But it's really important for kids to know, hey, look at what this cool thing this lady is doing, man.
And you can also be like that.
You can also like see how much joy she gets from talking about her pets or doing this for people, right? And I love that. Like, that is what kids need to see. Kids need to meet different kinds of people. Yes. Growing up, that's what I felt was really was such a wonderful thing in my childhood. My parents had so many friends, and they were all so different from each other. And I mean, for that time, for 35 years ago, that's how diverse it was. And now it's only gotten more diverse. Yeah. It is the job of the school to say, we can do this. And I'm so lucky I have the space. I have the space. I met you. It was awesome. It was I got like a great vibe from you. And I was like, I want to work with this person. And I think I love working with passionate people. I like people who I want them to match my passion. Like if because I take things really seriously when it comes to work. When you were like, because I know you followed up multiple times, and whatever schedule, whatever, sometimes it's a little hard, but I loved it. I loved that it worked out. The workshop was fantastic. Really resonated with all the kids. Really want to do that again. I think there are a bunch of classes we can definitely do that for. Hey, superstar. And more than anything, kids have these thinking faces. Like when there's an idea in their head, they become a little bit quieter. Now, of course, they are hooligans. Love them all, but hooligans. And after your session, I saw quiet. And they come back and talk to me about it.
So many questions.
There are gears that are turning, right? Love it so much. And I think everybody wants a pet. Everybody. I can't think of a single person who says, unless you've been. My niece is like that. She's been bitten by a dog, so she's like super afraid.
No,
Fair,
I think I think it's just that notion, that fear, not the negative fear, but it's like, oh, what if? Sometimes the fear is, oh, I take it, and then what if I can't take care of that? That
and
fear
that's
is
also
there.
fine. But think about it little bit more.
That's why it's important that they know so much. That day also, when those two kids came for the cat, I said, please call your mom, speak to her.
But I think
let us explain.
I think Sushi, right? Sushi was adopted by their
Sushi
neighbor
or
only.
Wasabi, or I don't know.
Wasabi was adopted by someone else. They said it. I was like, it's fine, it happens. And I was like, did you not see any other cat? No, we wanted to adopt only Wasabi. And I was like, okay, guys, cool. I get it, no stress. But I want kids to know that this can happen. Because you hear about it in books.
And it's like so amazing they have a world of their own. Even when you are just sitting and watching television or anything, even when kids are just there, you can see their two dogs or a cat or two cats, they're communicating between themselves, and they don't care if the human is next to them or not, but they have their own time.
It's a safe space.
And it's just so joyful to even witness that.
That was the best thing about the adoption drive as well, because all of these kids, like I've mentioned before, the kind of baggage, some of the stuff I can't even talk about because it's the saddest thing, the situations they come from. And they were so happy to be there, and
it just made their day. Even for the dogs, it was such a happy. They were not scared. Most of the dogs were like very comfortable again, because for them also they can sense human energy, right? So they could see the kids were playful, they were happy, they were being respectful towards their space, and
they were ready. Did you see how all of them were like ready to learn? Okay, what should I do? Put my hand out first. Okay,
for that, I think the entire credit I'm going to give it to you, your mother, the
no,
school, to even make those children understand the requirement of asking questions and willingness to learn, which a lot of school, I wouldn't say lack, but it's probably the system, the process is different.
Of course. See, again, as human beings, we all come with baggage. Teachers come with baggage. Students come with baggage, and we're all just trying to survive, right?
But I think it's important that it's fine to have one of that one school or something, and it's fine to have
and if
that.
one other person can be like, maybe what this chick saying is making a little bit of sense, I'm okay with it. That's like I've said, this job is, I have removed myself from every outcome. Anything, like I am like, honestly, no, the outcome is not in my hands.
That's exactly why it resonated so much, and I took those Gita books, because that's what even our scriptures says, that you should not think about what's going to be the outcome. You just do whatever you can.
Isn't that the definition of anxiety, is when you're so stressed about the outcome?
Exactly.
So I'm just like, whatever happens. Even I was so excited to do this as well, because I'm like, you know what, Maini, it's really exciting to talk about my work. I don't usually like to do it very much, because I'm like, it's a little scary, because I'm like, oh no, what if I say the wrong thing? But now I'm just like, I've removed myself from the outcome, man. That's not in my hands. I give it to God.
How have you seen, again, this may be a little repetitive, but
just fine. I'm a teacher. I repeat myself always.
Just to understand a little bit more, how often have you seen certain changes in children after they've interacted with animals, or someone who haven't had a pet before but maybe have had it later on? Have you ever noticed some distinct changes in their personality later on?
I wouldn't say distinct, because like kids change on the minute,
Yeah.
every minute,
Yeah.
right? Because so many things are happening and they're absorbing so many things. But I think, again, in the long term is when I will see these real changes. But I have children become more free, especially a lot of the kids after the adoption drive, whoever came, they're all like a little bit chattier now with me also. And I like it. I like it a lot. Please come and talk to me more.
Yeah, that's what you want.
Yeah, that's what I want.
And
I want kids to talk.
and so many kids
man.
came and said, "Ma'am, where is Miney?
Yeah.
And where is Momo?" And I said, "Oh, they are not coming." But why, ma'am? I said, "No, but there'll be so many more dogs
Yeah.
and cats who will be coming." And then they were like
Yeah.
instantly happy.
I'm so glad.
I'm like, "No, no, we'll bring them again," and
Yeah.
all of that. The fact that they remembered the names of these two dogs, whom they have met 2 months before,
on, as if anyone will forget you all.
was so wonderful. They must have had lots of discussions about it.
Did.
Another, before we wrap it up and
Yeah,
things like that, we just wanted to know that how do you think that working with animals, or say if we ever, or any schools later ever think about introducing this animal assisted therapy, or just to
Yeah.
have animals in their compound,
Yeah.
and keeping that as a mandate, not a mandate, like an activity, like if a school has a dog in their vicinity and they say, "Okay, let's do like a project today and feed the dog," or something like that. How do you think these kind of activities, or inclusion of these kind of activities in school, would help in shaping up young minds?
I feel like it'll tell you a lot about students. It opens up something to talk to kids about that's not found in textbooks.
Yes.
Sure, there are lots of stories that talk about being nice or being empathetic, but I feel like in real life, practically speaking, if you have something like that, that makes it fantastic. I think that's really important. And I want to do that, but like whatever, I might have my own shortcomings when it comes to that way. But what I can do is open up my space. I can do adoption drives whenever. It's not bad. I can, that because I have the space to do it. So if I have the space to do it, why shouldn't I? I cannot think of a why not.
Of course. And not just adoption drives. Like I said, before any such drive, it's important to do the awareness.
Absolutely.
And it's not just about the one kind of awareness I did. We can pick up certain topics.
I loved animal assisted for mental health, especially because like scientifically it has been proven as well that it is something that will definitely that helps you. Like a service animal is an animal that can actually save your life.
And I feel having, like, using a dog in a therapy session, or any cat or a dog or any pet that people are comfortable with, it kind of gives you a chance to open up more. It's just the presence of another living creature. It will just give a person who's going through some kind of a trauma, I think it just helps them open up and blossom. And I've tried that, and it has
because
worked.
Like I feel like animals don't judge you, right? There's no judgment at all coming from them, and it's so unconditional.
Correct.
You talk about how even abused animals love their owners or masters or whatever you want to call it, and I think that's absolutely insane, because at the end of the day, that is the whole point. The point is that you live a life where you are happy, where you feel happy about your own self, where you feel like your most authentic self. And I don't think anyone can be inauthentic with a pet. You can't be inauthentic with Momo in your without Momo in your life. It's with Momo, whatever. But it's impossible to be inauthentic.
Can't be. You can't.
And like, that is the point of life. The point of life is to be your true self. And you can be an animal person, you can be a not animal person, you can learn to be an animal person, all of that stuff, right? And we are so lucky to live in a time where there are resources for us to help to learn. Why should kids be denied that? Learn whatever the problem is, we can learn it, and then we can overcome it. Let's do that.
Correct. And that's why I keep telling children in all these workshops that it's not, the end goal is not that you adopt someone and take. It's about learning about them. It's about trying to understand how they behave and etc. And then you maybe someday you can, or maybe you can
one day
forward
when
this
it
learning.
feels right.
Yeah, and when maybe not you, maybe your child, when you have a child,
Yeah.
your child may be interested.
Yeah.
You will have that knowledge to give to your children.
All the universe brings a puppy to
Yeah.
your doorstep.
Yeah.
You know what to do.
exactly.
And like when you say knowledge is power, this knowledge is also that it is power.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think you're making very good use of your power. Like you said, you have the power, and it's a rightly said remark that with great power comes even
Great
great
responsibility. Yeah.
It's true, and we all have some kind of power in our own capacities, and we should utilize
it.
that and
I feel
share
like we should
that and
share our
collaborate
power.
on that.
Absolutely.
And I love that I'm getting to do that.
Yeah.
Work with people like you and so many
Same.
others of them out there. And every time I do these connect with these kind of schools, I always want to bring them in this conversation room where we talk about it and let people hear. Usually these podcasts turn into like a huge long one, but I know for sure
I love a good podcast. I don't know how many people want to sit and listen to me talk.
Yeah, no, but
at the same
usually
time,
they're long, but I know for sure whoever is interested to know, they will go.
Maybe
they will-
like I said,
they will
something
read it.
clicks.
Yeah.
That's great. That's all I want. I just want something to
Exactly.
click. Yeah.
And I'm so thankful we had this conversation
Thank you,
today.
Sneha.
It was a lovely conversation. We followed none of the scripted questions.
No, we are unscripted like
Yes,
that.
but I think we could put the message ahead that we wanted to. And I wanted to say this in the introduction part, is that how many of you can think of a teacher or a principal that you could have gone to just with a smile and just dash through them and just tell them hi, and you'll get a response back. I think you are one such educator, and I think
I hope I'm sure there are many people like me out there, and every single child deserves a teacher.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, I also want to say I maybe I'm not like this 24 hours a day, 365.
But still,
I'm also self-aware. I'm aware of like when I can be. I make this, and kids really get that. I'm like, guys, today I'm not in the mood, and they're like, okay, man, back off. I love that.
Yeah, exactly.
No, tell me why.
Yeah, because you would do the same for them.
Exactly.
And the fact that the thing is that the comfort that they have, that they can come to you and tell you if they are in any kind of thing, or also come and share like a happy moment or something with you.
Ma'am, yesterday, where we went for biryani. And I'm like, that's amazing. Where did you go? Tell me, was it good?
The fact that they find someone they look up to so approachable, that's also something very, very unique, because most of the time we don't find people approachable, even as adults. But for children, that's a great deal of validation that they will be listened to if they go to this certain person.
See, like I said, that's what I wanted as a child. I just wanted someone to listen to me and someone to just like get it.
Correct.
I'm not saying I get it.
And to end this podcast in this most the funny and sweet and really candid thing was the cream pudding session that I saw. It's just stuck with me, and I give this example to everyone that this is what happened. My principal or my teacher has never even offered me a pencil. If I probably would have been punished if I didn't get a pencil or a copy or something.
But how useless is that? In life, we forget things all the time. It's only made me more anxious now. No.
And then the fact that what is this funny story behind you offering kids to have these little Vaseline moisturizers?
See, like especially the boys, right? Zero self-care. Like they don't care. They come in winter, they come with cracked cheeks, and I'm like, you're so gorgeous, you beautiful little thing. You deserve to be a little bit more comfortable. And you can tell them, right? You can tell kids, go cut your nails at home, go wear cream and come. Kids won't listen. I'm like, you know what?
You'll keep the
forget this, man. Forget it. I have a nail cutter, I have a nail file, and then I have cream as well. They come and it's hilarious. The funniest thing is they come and ask you, it's Tirtha. They're like, ma'am, can I have some cream? Like this. And I'm like, no, it's just cream. Just take it like this. I love it, especially. And the ones who've responded to it the most are the boys. The boys love it. And I show them how to apply it. And see, doesn't your skin feel really nice? And it does. It also helps that it smells delicious. They love how it smells. And they go back to class and they're like, it smells really nice. And I feel like it's a step in the right direction. Teach your children to take care of themselves.
They will forever remember this as a part of their growing up story. When we all know that when we friends get together as young adults or even adults, and when you're older, the first memories that comes in your mind are your school memories, like funny incidents or bad or good incidents. This is something that is so distinct, and they will always remember. I will always remember this, that I've witnessed this,
and they don't care. I am in a meeting, I am talking about like some program for school or something like that. Ma'am, cream. Ma'am, cream. Ma'am, please, ma'am, cream. Ma'am, cream. And you're like, take the cream. And it wasn't usually a thing.
Again, this also teaches them to be kind and gentle, and
you teach them a little bit of politeness, because you're like, say please, and ma'am, please come, ma'am, please scream. And these are second standard children.
I know.
And one parent was like, my son is not putting on cream at home. He's like, I'll come to school and put on cream.
But that is so lovely.
But you see, again, school shouldn't be a place where you're scared. School shouldn't be a place where you are
not yourself.
And it's a place where you have ideas. And it's so sad, because what higher order are you thinking of when your child is uncomfortable in their own skin?
Yes, absolutely.
Little bit of lip balm, one pot of lip balm, take it, put it on their or put it on their hand. They're like, why do you put it here? I'm like, do you know it's the cleanest part of your hand? And
that's something that they're learning. So about themselves, about their own body. So
and I always end it with, how does it feel? See, take a minute, see how it feels. And they're like, it's nice. And I'm like, please go and sit in class now. It's all good. Teachers may be a little bit upset. They'll be like 5 minutes late. And I'm like, it's okay. They're putting cream. Teachers, please.
So wonderful. I had such an amazing time conversing today. And this was, I think, one of the most fun podcasts that we've had, because it was so like really candid in the real sense.
And also like the questions you had were also.
It doesn't have to be like a serious thing. It should be a conversation where you should talk loudly about what you're doing.
Capable of having 100% serious conversation.
I think what you're doing, you should talk about it even more and more and more. Even what I feel like, even what I am doing, I should talk about it more.
You should. And you are.
And it's wonderful. Why shouldn't we talk about things that we are doing? And we are doing it because we want to do it, not to prove anything to anyone. But it was amazing to do this podcast. And just to tell everyone, if it is a little longer, please don't mind and just keep watching it. It's
Look
amazing.
at the cutie face. Why would you mind it?
And the amount of knowledge and understanding that we have gathered today here with Apoorva about.
If I've made any mistakes or something, I'm not a super expert, guys. This is all of my lived experience that I spoke about today.
And that's what we all should, and we will.
Always willing to learn and change my mind about anything.
I wish you all the best, that you keep doing what you're doing, and you get to do more and more and empower.
I hope we get to do more.
Yes, I hope so. We do get to work together on 100%. More projects, and
we're seeing each other next month for the drive. Rishita will be very mad at me if I don't do it.
And we get to empower kids as much as possible, and through the kids, maybe their parents also. A lot of parents would get empowered.
The kids deserve it, though. 100% of it.
Yes.
Man, the kids deserve it. Man, they're epic.
Three cheers to South School and all the wonderful teachers, the students over there.
Thank you.
And thank you
so much for having me.
Thank you. My pleasure.
I really appreciate it. I had the loveliest time. It was awesome. It was so awesome. Don't tell anyone, but you are the best.
Thank you so much, guys, for watching and giving love to our podcast. Whoever is watching, we don't keep a count.
Guys.
And don't forget to subscribe and follow our channel for more such content. We will come back with more interesting people into this journey and have more and more conversations. And for all of the viewers who are watching and who can resonate with whatever topics we talk about, please go and forward. Talk about this more, spread more awareness about animals, about loving animals, and the importance of coexisting with.
If you want to live in a happier world, this is what you're going to have to do.
Yes, and how impactful it is on our mental health to care for animals. Such
an incredibly positive
and
impact.
That's what we are trying to figure out through this journey. Thank you very much for watching us, and we'll see you soon again.
Bye.